So we're going to put the cam chain rollers on to the bottom of the cylinder head. There are two rollers. One with the 3 rollers goes on the exhaust side and the other one goes on the intake side. These both will layer over this bolt. So you want to put your exhaust cam chain guide in first. So it just slides in like such. You have a bolt, and then you have a sleeve washer type thing. There's probably an official word for it, but make sure you have these. Go ahead and put the other one on. And then I want to get this pulley over these bushings or whatever they're called. Okay, and tighten this down a little bit more.
So you just don't have them so tight that they can't move around, but you can bring the slack up. There you go.
It's good for now. And then we're going to put the exhaust one in again, or intake side. So it slides in like such, and it's going to layer on top of this this one. For the middle bolt, it's just a lock washer and a bolt in my example. And then for these 2 bolts, we're going to have another one with that bushing slash washer. And I'll go ahead and tighten these later. Another cam guide or roller. It's going to go here in the top of the cylinder head. It's accessed through the side. You can see my finger going through the hole. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to apply a little bit of oil to the inside surface here. And then, so that will now go on here. Before I do that though, I'm going to apply a little bit of mystery oil to this O-ring to help lubricate it.
And that's new O-ring those in the kit, right?
Yep. So that'll help it seat better.
And now comes the fun part.
So for this I'm going to use long nose needle pliers. I'm just going to kind of grip it from the side. I'm going to dangle it over and watch it as I go in.
Let me get to that side.
Okay. And so I got it in the shaft, I believe. And so then massage it in. And there we go. So now, if I press, it's in. And there's going to be a little screw that goes into here to keep that assembly together.
Cool. We're gonna put some anti-seize on that screw.
Okay.
And thread it. Actually, you know what? I'm thinking about that. That's just a regular Phillips, right?
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of anti-seize on that one.
Okay.
Put it in, and there's our roller right there in place. If we do this shot, take that head and you see the roller kind of there in the middle, hanging out. The cam.
Something that we're going to install is on the camshaft. There's these camshaft dampener rings.
Yeah, they're cam chain dampener.
Cam chain dampener. So just used for noise and durability of your cam chain as it goes over. So use my old knee vise and just kind of start it in one end so it goes into the groove, and then you're just going to kind of work your way around. I'm not the best at this. I've got about half of it in now. So we went ahead and got all 4 in. So there's one here, one here, one here, and one here on both sides of the cam chain. And we've also replaced the seal on the timing cover.
Point chamber, camshaft seal. Yeah.
So pop that out, put a new one in with 3 bond, run the outside of it, went ahead and press it in.
Okay, so we have our rocker arm shafts here, and right now Jonathan is applying assembly lube to the shaft there, because that's where the follower actually follows. Just go ahead and
Just put it on.
Well, you can slide it on. We're actually put the shaft in first. You can dribble some of that assembly lube into the hole there. We're also going to put assembly lube on the pad. Let me get that shot there. Pad on the top there, and also on the tip there. We'll also put a drop of it there on top of the valve stem. So. Coming in with that, and we'll take another shot of the other ones going together from a different angle so you can see it, but just kind of wiggling all that stuff in. Is it in? Yeah. Okay. Actually, let's do this before you solidify it. Because you're gonna have a hard. Oh, you can get it up. Yeah, get it up. Put some on there. Put some on the bottom of that. And then put a generous blob out there on that wear pad. There you go. Go more with it, man. Just go heavy with it. You're not gonna hurt it.
It doesn't stick to my fingers, not the.
There you go. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. Looks good. So one thing I want to show here is how the cam followers move. The shaft we just installed is an eccentric. It's actually its own cam of its own, and people get really confused on how the adjustment works on the 450 and also on the 350 as well. And so here I'm just going to turn it, and you're going to see how the follower actually kind of moves up and down. You see how it moves back and forth. And that's how you end up setting your valve adjustment, is this kind of cam action. It doesn't actually like have like a threaded adjuster like a 360 does or a 550 does. It just kind of finds a position here, it gets closer or further away from the cam basically, and that's how it works. We're dealing with the little cam end covers right here, the cam bearing covers, or whatever we're going to call them. And here are the gaskets for them, and if you notice that 3 of them are the same, one of them is different, and people don't always catch the fact that this one is different. The different one goes on the cam cover that has the ignition points in it. You can see how it fits thusly. So that one gasket is particularly for this cover with the ignition points in it. Also, I want to point out a couple more details involving the 450 camshafts. We're going to get to with alignment. So here are different covers. Why don't you go ahead and hold that one up, Jonathan? That's the one with the tack drive on it. So that's going to be the exhaust side. And I've highlighted this little, like in red, this little tick mark on it. It's a little raised piece of casting there. This is an alignment mark we're going to use to line the cam up with for positioning the cam to install the cam chain. On the other side, we have the camshaft has the matching tick mark as well. I've also kind of gone in with some red. Make sure you get that better in the light there. There we go. And highlighted it. It looks like a little chisel mark. A lot of people get confused thinking about the alignment marks for the camshaft. So putting them together, not in the motor, you can see that the marks line up. So I just highlighted them with some red ahead of time just to make sure you could see them. We can point them out when we're in the engine. So we'll line this stuff up once it's all installed, and you'll see why that's important as far as getting the cam chain in. But I wanted to just show that. So that's for the exhaust side. We have the same thing for the intake side. It also has a cam alignment, same deal. It's on the left-hand side of the cam, a little mark there. Our respective cover has the mark there. So just doing it ahead of time so it's easy to see in reference. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to put on our cam end holders and the cam, and first I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some of this assembly lube and just kind of pour it inside into that camshaft bore there, and spread it around on the bearing surface so it stays nice and true. Same deal on the other side. Just spread it all around. Just going to get that side started. Go over here. And that's kind of supporting the cam now. Alright, let's take the mallet here. Much easier. Alright, I'm going to put the bolts in, hold it in place, and so we've got some new stainless steel Allen head bolts. A little bit of anti-seize on these so we can actually take them out one day. Just going to go until I feel its seat, and I'm going to stop. I'm not going to torque it in place until I get the sides in. The long one goes in the deeper part of the casting here. You can see how it's a little bit thicker. So it gets the longer bolt. Stop. The other side. Same drill. The longer one's going to go in the bottom here where the casting is a little bit taller. Each place. Exhaust side cam, which only goes in one way, because that's the drive for the ignition points. Advanced patches. I'm going to make sure those valves are adjusted down. That's good. All right. One spot. Boom. There it goes. Right there. Should.
Might have been angling down a little bit.
Angling down. Oh, we're in. That's good. All right, we're going to put on the right side cover. I'm going to put a little drop of oil on that O-ring. That's the new O-ring for the shaft seal. Cool, we see that's in. Take that, that's there. So on this one we have the tack drive here. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of oil on this part of the tack drive here. The motor, and also put a little oil on the gear here. That goes in the end of the camshaft, and there's little tick marks where there it is, right there, right? Yep. All right, and then we're going to put on our other side cam cover here, tack drive side. Again, I always want to lube up this O-ring, just a drop of Marble Mist oil. Good. All right, off all the pieces. scare it in so we can go ahead and put our bolts in. What's going to be on the side here? I think they're all, got one long one at the very top here. Type-C's on there. One Allen on the outside, and we have 3 Phillips head screws for the inside ones because they're under the points cover. And let's really see them again. Loose. I need to get a slightly larger screwdriver to keep driving these in. It's just a little bit small. There we go. Number 3.
We're going to look at specifically the 4 corners of the block with the dowels. So you have 2 on the outer side, on the exhaust side. So 1 here, 1 here, and then also 1 on the intake side on the right side. You're also going to have rubber sleeves on the right side.
Right, so this is where the oil feeds through.
So what we've done, we put 3 bond around the dowel and also around the rubber gasket seal to help
Seal the oil.
keep it from leaking.
So what happens is, if you put these, you can put these in dry, but when the engines run and people are like, I got an oil leak from my head, it's not because the head's leaking oil, it's because the seal here, which is a transfer seal between the block and the head where the oil goes to the top, is leaking oil. So we just kind of, I put the sealing rubber in there, and I also put a bunch of 3-bond on it, and I'm going to wipe off this excess in the deck here, and then go put the head gasket on and torque it down, and help just make sure everything's super sealed. I gotta be really kind of sparing with it, so I'm going to come in. Here's just my screwdriver and try to do up that. It's like a little ravine. Alright, so we're going to install the head gasket, and if you notice here on the gasket, get 2 larger holes on this side. That's the ones that are going to go over the dowels here. That means this side faces up. Sometimes I've seen on some head gaskets that the dowel holes here are a little bit small and going over the dowels, and so you might have to take an X-Acto knife or a reamer and just ream them out just a hair. It just has to do with like the punching accuracy when you're making the die. So heads up, if it's feeling tight, you might just need to take just a hair of material out to go in. So we're going to try to get this guy on. There we go. Need to go there. Go here.